yeah, the main motive of this webinar is to explain you all about what is a case study and how you all are going to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to share a screen. Can all of you all see this? Hope all of you all could see this. Okay, so this the topic that we are going to discuss is how to write a case study as a complete beginner. So now all of you all will be like coming to a point of I mean like writing a case study. It can be any subject that you select. It can be management, it can be psychology, it can be anything, teacher education, right? Whatever the stream that you all are focusing on, right? You all will have to write a case study at some point of your studies, right? So here I'm going to explain you 8 points, right? I'm going to explain you 8 contents through this webinar. Okay, so the first one which we are going to write now, you can see this, how to write a case study as a complete beginner. This is the main topic that we are going to discuss. So the first thing that we are going to discuss is what is a case study. The second, benefits and limitations. The third, types of case studies, how to write a case study, where to find data, what is APA, writing a case study in APA step by step, example of a case study. So I'm going to finally, I'll be explaining you all these steps and I'll be giving you an example also on case studies. Right. So the first thing that we are going to discuss is about what is a case study. A case study is an in-depth study of one person, group, or event. In a case study, nearly every aspect of the subject's life and history is analyzed to seek patterns and causes of behavior. Case studies can be used in a variety of fields, including psychology, medicine, education, political science, and social work. So in this, you can understand that a case study is an in-depth study. An in-depth study means where we study deeper about a particular person, or else a group, or else an event. Okay, so where we study in depth. Okay, so in a case study, nearly every aspect of the subject means here that means on whom are we focusing this case study, right? He is the subject, right? That particular thing is the subject. So in simple words, we can explain that a case study is a in-depth study of a person, group, or an event. Okay, so that can be used, as I told you all earlier, to any field, either psychology, medicine, education, political science, whatever the field that you are, there will be a situation where you have to use this word case study. All right, so the next point, let's go. The hope is that learning gained from studying one case can be generalized to many others. Unfortunately, case studies tend to be highly subjective and is sometimes difficult to generalize results to a large population. So what the main hope of a case study, the belief of a case study is that by gaining knowledge about one specific thing, we can apply it to all the others. But actually that is not possible, because a case study is highly subjective. Highly subjective means it is unique to a particular subject. So you cannot use one case study to solve many other problems. Okay. While case studies focus on a single individual or a group, they follow a format that is similar to other types of psychology writing. So case study, I'll be explaining you the format of writing a case study as well. Okay. The next is benefits and limitations. Benefits and limitations. A case study can have both strengths and weaknesses. Researchers must consider. Can all of you all hear me? Hope. Hope everyone can hear me, right? If you all cannot hear me, just let me know. Drop in my inbox. A case study can have both strengths and weaknesses. Researchers must consider this before deciding if this type of study is appropriate for their needs. So, to solve all your problems, you cannot use a case study. So you have to first identify whether this particular study is useful for your work or else whether it is not useful, right? So all the case studies, they have strengths and weaknesses. That means positive and negative. Let's see what they are. One of the greatest advantages of a case study is that it allows researchers to investigate things that are often difficult to impossible to replicate in a lab. Some other benefit. Yeah. So now the main advantage of a case study is that it can be used to solve, to investigate on things that cannot be done in a lab. Usually scientific research scientific researches are carried out in a laboratory. Okay, so there might be some researches that we cannot do in a laboratory. Okay, so for cases of that caliber, we use this case study method. Okay, for researchers of that caliber to solve issues based on the things that we cannot do in a laboratory, we use this case study method, right? So some other benefits of case study. Now let's see what are the benefits of a case study. It allows researchers to collect a great deal of information. So by doing a case study, you can collect a lot of information about the subject. Okay, the next is give researchers the chance to collect information on rare or unusual cases. Now, sometimes if you are doing a research on a very rare case, right, so that one will help you to get more information about that particular case. It allows researchers to develop hypotheses that can be explored in experimental research. So a hypothesis means it is an assumption. That means you assume something. Okay, by doing a case study, you can develop a lot of hypotheses. Okay, you can assume a lot of things that with regard to the case study. Okay, the other thing is about the negative side. Let's see about now we spoke about the positive things, and now we are going to talk about the negative impact of a case study. Cannot necessarily be generalized to a large population. As I told you earlier, this case study is highly subjective. So you cannot use it to a larger population. Okay, you have to use it only to a small group or an individual. So by you have to apply a case study. Okay, you cannot use it for a larger population. That is the first negative side. The second is it cannot demonstrate the cause and effect, right? By a case study, you can what is meant by cause and effect? That means the reason for a particular thing to occur and the effect. That is known as the cause and effect. So you cannot explain the cause and effect by using a case study. The next one is may not be scientifically rigorous. So it cannot be 100% scientifically true. Whatever you do in a case study, it cannot be 100% scientifically true, right? And can lead to bias. That means sometimes a case study can go against you all as well. Okay, researchers may choose to perform a case study if they are interested in exploring a unique or recently discovered phenomena, right? So you can carry out a case study for a unique phenomena, a unique idea, or else a recently discovered something which was recently discovered, right? You can carry out a case study on things like that. The insights gained from such research can then can help the researchers develop additional ideas and study. Okay, I will explain you in a nutshell that this thing, by a case study, what you can the main benefit that you can gain is you can gather more information about a particular incident or about a particular person, individual, right? You can get more information. So actually a case study means where you collect information, where you gather information, you observe for a period of time and you gather information. That is called a case study. Okay, next. Right, next let's go to the types of case studies. Okay, these are the types of case studies that you all have to know. There are few different types of case studies that psychologists and other researchers might utilize. Collective case study, right? A collective case study. That means these involve studying a group of individuals. Researchers might study a group of people in a certain setting or look at entire community of people. Now, a collective case study means where researchers, they use a group of individuals as their subject, okay, and they study about the group of people and gather information. That is called as a collective case study. Next is descriptive case studies. A descriptive case study means these involve starting with a descriptive theory. The subjects are then observed and the information gathered is compared to the pre-existing theory. A descriptive theory means, a case study means, we are carrying out a case study on a pre-existing theory. Now, for example, just think there is already a theory, right? There is already a theory put forwarded by someone. So what we are doing is we are carrying out a case study based on that theory. Okay, based on a particular theory. So that is known as a descriptive case study. So the third type is explanatory case study. Explanatory case study means these are often used to do casual investigation. In other words, researchers are interested in looking at factors that may have actually caused certain things to occur. So where explanatory means where the researchers carry out these types of case studies in order to find out the actual cause for a particular thing to occur, right? If a particular incident or if something has occurred, right? So these researchers, what they do, they carry out this explanatory case study in order to identify the actual cause for that incident. Okay, the next is exploratory case study. Exploratory case study means these are sometimes used as a prelude to further more in-depth research. This allows researchers to gather more information before developing their research questions and hypotheses. So exploratory case study means you can get it by this word. Exploration means what? Exploration means where you go in depth, you study in depth of a particular case. Okay, so that is called exploratory case study. Instrumental case studies, that is the next type. These occur when the individuals or group allows researchers to understand more than what is initially obvious to the observer, right? Now here you can see instrumental case studies means the subject is helping the researcher, right? So you can see the individual or the group allows the researchers to understand. So they are coordinating with the researcher to complete this particular case study. So such case studies are known as instrumental case studies. Next is intrinsic case studies. This type of case study is when the researcher has personal interest in the case. Right, now here you can see they have given an example, Jean Piaget, right? Jean Piaget is a psychologist, a cognitive psychologist, okay? So what he did was, Jean Piaget's observation of his own children are a good example of how an intrinsic case study can contribute to the development of psychological theory. So what did Jean Piaget do? He used his own children in order to put forward a particular theory. So such cases where you use your own personal interest is known as intrinsic case studies. The types of case studies that is used depends on the unique characteristic of the situation. So you can choose whatever the case study among this in according to your need. Okay, according to your need, you can use the case study. Okay, let's see. Here comes the main part, how to write a case study. There are also different methods that can be used to conduct a case study. Okay. To conduct a case study, including prospective and retrospective case study method. So now, in order to conduct a case study, so these are the two types of methods that we are going to use: prospective case study and retrospective case study. Let's see what is prospective. Prospective case study are those in which an individual or group of people is observed in order to determine outcomes. For example, a group of individuals might be watched over an extended period of time to observe the progression of a particular disease. Now, a prospective case study means where you observe an individual or a group of people, and for a period of time, that means for a few weeks, you keep on observing them, right? A few days or few weeks, you keep on observing them and you record their progression, right? You record their progression. So what happens is, this is, you take a group of people and you observe them from the beginning, right? You observe them from the beginning, step by step, you improve. The next is retrospective case study. Retrospective case study means, right, where the methods involve looking at a historical information. For example, researchers might start with an outcome such as a disease and then work their way backwards to look at information about the individual's life to determine the risk factors that may have contributed to the onset of the illness. So this one goes backwards. So this one, retrospective, means where they go from back to the beginning. So here you can see that they are taking as a, they have taken an example as a disease. They know the disease, and now they are going backwards to identify the reason of cause. How did this disease occur? But here what happens is, in prospective, they are observing a group of people, how the disease is caused. But here they have identified the disease and now they are going backwards. So you have to understand these are the two methods, prospective and retrospective. Okay. The next is where to find data. So this is how we find data for a case study. There are a number of different sources and methods that researchers can use to gather information about an individual or group. So these are the different types of method I'm going to explain you. Direct observation. A direct observation means where you directly observe the particular subject, right? You observe the subject and you gather information. That is one method how you can collect your data. Okay. Second is documents, right? Documents means we are using letters, newspapers, or articles. Okay, whatever the documents that you have with regard to that subject, right? You can use those as a collection of data. Third is interviews, right? Where you have interviews with that subject, right? You can have face-to-face interviews or whatever the type you can have, but that is the third method, is interviews, where you have to have an interview with the subject in order to gather data. Next is participant observation. When the researcher serves as a participant in events and observes the action of outcome, it is called participant. Now you can see here, now this one, participant observation and direct observation. So this one, you have to understand the difference. Direct observation means the researcher, what does he do? He observes it, but he doesn't participate, right? He doesn't participate in that event. But a participant observation means where the researcher is also a part of that subject, right? Part of the research. He goes into that event and he engages in that event and he acts as a participant in that particular event. So such collection of data is known as participant observation. Next is physical artifacts. Physical artifacts means using the tools, objects, or instruments, whatever the subject is using. Okay, so this is one method how you can. So these are the 6 methods that how you can gather data for your case study. Okay, let's go to the next. Now here comes the standard way of writing a case study. I want all of you all, right, when you all are writing a case study in the future, you all better, the advice is you all better use this method, because this is the universally accepted method of writing a case study. Okay, let's see what is this APA. American Psychological Association. Okay, APA stands for American Psychological Association. APA is a common social formatting style for essay and papers. So this is a common format of how you write essays, and essay means like it includes this case study as well. Okay, so let's see what is an APA. Writing a case study in APA step by step. Okay, right. Knowing how to write a case study in APA format is a common question students have. In addition to the typical academic standards, APA has its own requirements that must be adhered to. The first step is to create a heading known as a running head that will be present on each page of your paper. Now I'm going to give you the steps how you should write a case study in an APA method. Okay, the first thing is there should be a running head. Okay, a running head means, let's see, a margin of the first step. Let's see, a margin of 1 inch to be maintained around. So you have to, if you take a page, I will show you a sample later. If you take a page, first there should be a margin. Here you can see, this is a sample of a case study, right? So you can see around this, there is a 1 inch margin. Around the paper, you have to keep a 1 inch margin. That is the first point. The second one is the page number on the right margin. Okay, you have to mark the page number on the right side. Okay. And the third is a shortened title of your paper in all caps, no longer than 50 characteristics of to the right. Yeah. Then you have to write here, this is the title. This is the running head. You can see here, this is the running head. It should be in capital letters. Next, the full title of your paper using APA titling no longer than 12 words. This is your full title here. This is your full title. Can you see this? This is your full title. Okay, right. And the next is your name without any designation. You cannot write any designation of your name and the institution you attend. So you cannot write this Dr. PhD, Reverend, etc. You should not write any designation in front of your name, and you have to write your institution or the researcher, the professor whom you are going to hand over. So this one you can see the Colin K. This is the student's name. Okay, there is no designation mentioned here. Okay, and here you have written the institution that you are going to give, and here the professor, and here the date, right? So this is what you have to follow when you're writing a case study. Structure of case study reports. So let's see. So this is how, when you are going to write a case study, so always remember, before you write, now even during your school times, they would have taught you all that when you are writing an essay, okay, you have to have you should have a structure, a frame. Okay, similarly, when you're writing a case study, you should have a framework. Now, if you take your body, you have a structure. We call it as the skeletal system. Without the skeletal system, you won't have a particular shape. You won't have a structure, right? Your body will not be organized. Similarly, whenever you're writing a case study, you should have a structure. Let's see what is the structure in an APA method. When the research is done and the key ideas are selected, writing a rough draft is not a problem. We advise you to check the grading, right? Knowing all the criteria and following the correct assignment structure, you will be able to create a truly great case study, right? So if you feel that you cannot do this task well, feel free to break it down into several pieces and write each of them separately, because all of you all cannot write at once. So you all have to have a structure. So this is the best method that you can follow. The first structure that you have to do is, you have to focus on is case study introduction. So you have to first give an introduction to your case study, right? You have to introduce the people who are going to read your case study. What is your case study about, right? What are you based on? So you have to give an introduction. So the first structure breakdown is what is your introduction. The second is case study aims. What is your aim actually? Okay, why the aim of your case study is suggested in your thesis statement. So you have to give the people an idea that what is your aim of doing this case study, what is your target. Okay, next is case study methods. So you have to write what is the method that you used in the case study. It can be either, I taught you 6 methods, it can be either interviews or journals, whatever. So you have to, third point, you have to mention about what are the methods that you used in this case study. Next is case study results. Okay, you have to mention what are the results of the case study. The next one is case study discussion. So you have to discuss whatever you have written. So discussion means should be in detail. Okay, and next is case study recommendation. So writing only the case study will not help you. You have to come out with a good practical recommendation. Okay, if this is the problem, this is your solution. You have to come out with a practical recommendation, and whatever the recommendation that you are giving should be practical. Okay, the next is example of a case study. Now here comes the last part of it, the example of a case study. So now I'm going to explain you. Jeannie. Okay, Jeannie is a name of a girl here. Okay, Jeannie was a young girl subjected to horrific abuse and isolation. So she's a young girl who had been subjected to horrific abuse and isolation. The case study of Jeannie, now what they did was, some researchers, they carried out a case study on this particular girl. Okay, the case study of Jeannie allowed researchers to study whether language could be taught even after critical periods of language development had been missed. Now always remember that you all learn some language during your younger days, right? During your young ages, you all start to talk. When you're from age of 2.5, 3, you all start your first few words. Okay, so this Jeannie, this character, is a person who has lost her young age. Why? Because of lot of abuse and isolation, right? This girl has been abused, and isolated means cornered. Okay, so this girl, obviously when we think this particular person would not be good at language, because why? This person was abused and isolated. So this girl will not have any sort of language, right? Her language development has been retarded. So what the researchers did is, after this girl has been abused and isolated, researchers carried out an experiment to identify whether this language development can be again fed into this particular character, right? Her case also served as an example how scientific research may interfere with the treatment and lead to further abuse and vulnerability. So here what they did was, it was a successful research where they were able to identify, right, where they were able to develop language into this particular character even after she has missed her language development period. Okay, such cases demonstrate how research can be used to study things that researchers cannot replicate in an experiment. Now you can see these type of experiments you cannot do it in a lab. So you have to use a particular subject. Now in this, who is the subject? Jeannie, the young girl, was a subject. Okay, so these type of researches can be done only by using subjects like this. If not, you cannot do this in a laboratory. Okay, so in Jeannie's case, her horrific abuse had denied her opportunity to learn languages at critical points in her development. So you know there are different development stages in your life. So Jeannie is a girl who has missed all these development stages, right? Because of her abuse and isolation. So what scientists did, they took this case, right, this subject, and they wanted to introduce the language into this particular subject, and it was a success. This is clearly not something that researchers could ethically replicate, but conducting a case study on Jeannie allowed researchers the chance to study phenomena that are otherwise impossible to reproduce. So in cases like this, you have to use a subject like Jeannie. If not, you cannot use a laboratory in order to identify these things. So hope you all have, this is all for the today's session, right? Hope you all have got a clear idea about how this case study should be written, and I will give you a mobile, I mean like WhatsApp number, right? So if anyone is interested in getting this type of I mean like this slide, PDF slide, so you all can just drop a message, a WhatsApp message to this number, which I'll be sending it through our chat box. Okay, so you all can send a WhatsApp message if you need this PDF document. I will share it to you all. Okay, so hope you all got the idea about a case study. So time is up, so let's wind up this session. Thank you very much, all of you all, for joining this.
Thank you, sir.